watching E3. I never thought I'd get in so easily. Watching all day in my beat-up old chair. What will I see? Believe it or not, it's E3.
My body is ready.
What's up guys, Battlefield Joe 97 here with my thoughts on E3 2012. Now I know it's already been a week since E3 2012 was over. Many people have already had their thoughts on videos. I was originally going to put 3 videos separate for Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. But since it's already a little bit late, I might as well cram every conferences in this video. So first, I'd like to go with Microsoft. The announcer looked tired as fuck. He wasn't that amusing. I honestly felt tired of listening and looking at him, dedicating too much to sports games. I'm sorry, listening to the retro gamers on this one. There is millions of them, and every year they say, quote unquote, it's better than ever, it's more realistic, you will feel like you're in the game, quote. And honestly, once the new one's out, nobody plays the older one. Nobody in 6 months will go, oh man, I need to look up NBA 2013 for E3. Focusing too much on Xbox as a media machine rather than a game console. I understand that now companies like Sony and Microsoft need to make their machines multimedia devices so that people can use it other than games. But if you're a gamer who wants to buy games and doesn't use it for DVDs and such, then fucking focus on the games. Pisses me off. If you want to focus on multimedia, go on CES. I hate how they advertise the Xbox nowadays as a Netflix machine with Xbox music. Fucking stupid. I also like to note many of these multimedia things were already announced last year at E3. No need to re-show the same show from last year. Also, do I recall Nike? Not very interested in that shit. Just get your ass to the gym and exercise. Notice that the majority of the titles they mention are cross-platform. The Halo gameplay, while good and interesting and made me, not skeptical about the whole thing and making me buy it, was the only thing that an Xbox exclusive that made me interested. Xbox getting Internet Explorer? Great! Now Microsoft will have one of the worst browsers ever. That is on a game console, not to mention it's going to be a slashed up version like, the YouTube app. Most likely won't even have Flash, Java, or any other important things that you need on a fucking internet browser. And also, do I have to mention Usher? What the fuck? You just basically want to think to yourself, am I watching a game conference or am I looking at a concert? Well, at least it spawned a great meme. Usher's dancing fits with anything. So basically, some things just drawn on too long and other ways too short. Microsoft just doesn't know how to make a good flowing show. Their strategy seems to be good, start, Kinect, multimedia and multi-platform games, and little exclusives, the end. As I said it before, it felt like last year all over again. At least they didn't, drown out the Kinect on our asses again. So yeah, end of rant. If I'm going to have the grade on Microsoft, I would say an F+. Now for Sony. Okay, let's get it out of the way. The Last of Us looked really stellar. Up there with Watchdogs and Ubisoft's conference in terms of the wow factor. But if Sony's conference had 3-act structure, my review would be this: a strong opening like Microsoft's, a middle act needed some work like Microsoft, and many loose ends needed tying up like Microsoft's. I love the general atmospheres in Sony's conferences. Jack is far more comfortable on stage compared to, the Microsoft announcer. The jokes come easier, they hit the mark, he's infinitely more watchable. This time, however, I could almost feel the patting on the back more. It took so long to get to the first video game, to the first anything for that matter. Luckily, they did first show David Cage's Beyond. Beyond had a strange atmosphere, tense. Once we heard the announcement that Ellen Page would be playing the main character, it was straight into the demo. There was little gameplay, but the scene shown evoked a real sense of drama. It's safe to say that whatever tech Quantic Dream is using has evolved considerably since Heavy Rain. Performances look really stable. Part of me that was essentially disappointment, however, was the SWAT team. I knew intentionally that the traditional action drop was incoming. The rest of Beyond's E3 demo felt like it could have been taken away from any game show at any conference. Explosions, fire, destruction. I'm sure this isn't completely as a whole, but still I had hoped to see more of how interactive it could have worked for Beyond. Now for PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale. Nothing mind-blowing in my opinion. Assassin's Creed Liberation on Vita with a female assassin. Interesting, but given the track record on the PSP, it'll be hard to sell for me personally. Handheld integrations of major franchises tend to feel non-cannibal to me, and a bit diversifiedly not, in my experience. A B-team game, I hope I'm proven wrong by that. I'm sure I'm going to give the only exception I can think of, like Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Assassin's Creed 3? Wow. Genuinely wow. Game of the Year contender for me, up there with Max Payne 3. Then the lackluster middle act began. That Wonderbook demo. 10 minutes long? I mean, I like the Harry Potter books. I like J.K. Rowling's style, but 10 minutes long for Wonderbook? Come on. Anyhow, then God of War. Interesting, blinks the time-sweeping mechanics, but not enough to distinguish a series that desperately needs reinventing, but needs to stop. Gritty origin story doesn't work when the original story is instantly gritty to begin with. God of War by numbers, that's what it feels like. The Last of Us, which was the last thing they showed, felt like a perfect way to round off the entire conference. In many ways, it felt like the traditional E3 demo. The gunplay, the cinematic set pieces, the stunning locale, but at the same time, it felt like little subpar. Violence was a little bit down, but unlike Uncharted, where the violence felt completely lightweight and incompetent, The Last of Us felt more weighted and real. Silent takedowns wasn't a matter of simple snapping necks like in Uncharted. The process felt more brutal. The final shot where the protagonist fired a shotgun at the face of the enemy didn't exact any laugh, it drew gas. I was very much like what I saw. In the very end, Sony's E3 2012 press conference was defined by what wasn't shown. No Last Guardian, previous few Vita games, only showing, of course, Liberation in that Call of Duty game, but that's about it. No other PS Vita games that actually wanted me to buy the system, and no new hardware. That's 2 for 2. Both Microsoft and Sony's were disappointing, but at least in Sony's case, they didn't focus more on the multimedia. So for me, if I were to review Sony's E3 conference, I would give them like a B-. And now for Nintendo's conference. This one has a lot of backlash from Nintendo fans and many people that were skeptical for the Wii U alike. Now, this could diverge from a rant. I'm the biggest Nintendo fan out there. I love Mario, I love Link, and many others. But even I have to admit the way they handled their conference was really poor. The game they showed off looked fantastic, but there was just a bit too much for a crowd that doesn't even watch the conferences. That said, I'm absolutely floored with the reaction that people had given the Wii U. Bullet point problems that I see with people's reactions. Number 1, people expecting things like The Legend of Zelda, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, price points, and system release dates, when it's being clearly stated that none of this was going to be shown at their conference. Now I know the whole argument that this is E3, the conference for gamers. You have to look at the investors. E3 isn't about us anymore, guys. The investors come in, and when the investors come into E3, they're going to show what many was going to sell. So yeah, the casual games, they're going to have to show more. So when granting their showings, you can't give them a low grade because of your expectations building up false hope. Number 2, people are expecting third-party titles to be graphically superior to the other console versions. What you don't realize is that the Wii U is a new system. All systems get better with age, and this system will be no different, especially with things like Assassin's Creed 3 having been in development since 2009 after Assassin's Creed 2 for the other consoles and being branded to the Wii U, minus the development in their controls. Number 3, People don't seem to care for the third-party games and wonder why Nintendo isn't even showing or releasing their own first-party when other systems already have these games coming out. Well, you all begged and pleaded for Nintendo to release third-party games, and now they're giving you what you want. And now you're gonna bitch and complain about not getting your Smash Brothers or Metroid or Zelda. Real mature, guys. Real mature. Number 4. I heard from many sites and many gamers from YouTube, Kotaku, Game Informer, that they were upset about getting the Jappy-ish learning video of how using the Wii U controller and how the tablet would work. Why should this affect your grade on the conference and Nintendo to begin with? Everybody said Nintendo had to be sure to explain the new system properly this E3 and make sure the world understand what it was all about. Well, again, you got what you asked for, and now I have to hear the complaining and people bitching. 5th, and the last, one of the biggest complaints is that Nintendo Land had a bit too much spent on it, and while I agree about that, you also have to realize the reasoning behind this show. You wanted them to explain how the Wii U would work and what tablet would do. So that what Nintendo did. They showed off their tech-type demo a la Wii Sports so that you could get a taste of the multiplayer and how it works. I think the game looks rather fun and my family would have a blast with it. Now for the couple things I agree with many people and how I see the conference. A big ending surprise including all of Retro was absent from the show and probably would have changed most people's opinion on the conference as a whole. Batman was shown when they could have included Assassin's Creed 3 instead, in my opinion. I think they may have done this though because Assassin's Creed 3 was shown at Microsoft and Sony's conferences, so that was a minor gripe. 3rd and lastly, the network system wasn't fully explained. Other things that a little bit of on Sunday, are friend codes still around? Will we get headset packed in? What about achievements? Any other kind of thing. So they didn't say any of that, so that was one I disappointed at. I think my biggest annoyance with the general reaction to Nintendo's conference is that the fact that everyone is grading them low than Microsoft or Sony because of their expectations of what the Wii U was going to deliver. While that can be justified, I think people are forgetting what we were given. Pikmin 3, Scrabble-Knots Unlimited, ZombiU, Mario Wii U, 3DS Mario that is coming out in August with the coins. More info on Paper Mario and Luigi's Mansion with the release dates for the holidays. Multiple demonstrations showing off how the Wii U gamepad could actually be in the games. ZombiU, Batman, Nintendo Land, etc. Overall, I could give Nintendo's conference a C+, but my general point here is that too many gaming sites are giving Nintendo even lower grades than what I'm giving Nintendo, than just talking about how absent their Wii U lineup would be. Not realizing that they have one of the best looking console launch lineups in the game history. Everything that was shown in that conference, a launch window, and are still taking care of the 3DS. So many complaints, what I hear is that, what the hell are Nintendo's development studios are doing? Well then, what they're doing is, 1, Pikmin 3, another Luigi's Mansion, a 3rd Paper Mario, and a couple of Mario titles. And even more, they may be working on Zelda, Metroid, F-Zeros, and Star Foxes. You're not going to get all of the mascots at launch, and had anyone who thinks you are blind and misinformed. What are you getting at is 5 Nintendo mascot titles, plus others, as well as exclusives and unique third-party titles. In a lot of ways, game journalists are like parents when I see through what is going to come given their thoughts on the industry, and when every single site is complaining about the lack of games and gimmickry controllers, is teaching your children, or the people who are, into the articles, that it's okay to hate on the Wii U. I'm not even on the show, and I had a good handle on how Nintendo is going about their launch, so why am I alone at this? And hey, at least it wasn't Wii Music demonstration. You have to at least agree on that. If I would have to put the overall big 3 of Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, all of them were disappointing. Even if Sony won overall, they were all disappointing in their own rights. The only conference that actually was excited was Ubisoft's. EA, I'm not even going to be talking about that. I hated that one. Up there with Microsoft's. Like, favorite, and subscribe to Battlefield Joe 97. Catch you guys later.